Today, our hero is going to face 4 pesky flop donk bets and pots worth over $3,000. If you often face donk bets in your games and struggle to make sense of what on earth is going on, then today's Tactical Tuesday is just for you. Don't forget to like and subscribe. John, are you ready to dunk on some white belts in this donk bet themed episode of Tactical Tuesday?
This Donkathon episode?
The Donkathon, yeah. Let's get after it. Let's see what's going on. So this first hand playing 500 in L. Congratulations, by the way, for moving up 5x stakes.
Slowly.
Yeah. It took you 2 weeks. So
I saw these guys limping under the gun, and I couldn't help myself. I had to get back in there.
So they limp. You ISO to $17.50. The big blind calls, who also could be a white belt, and the low jack limper calls. So take a flop 3 ways. You flop an overpair, so you've got queens. Flop is 449, 55 in the pot. Big blind checks. You get a pot donk from the low jack. So we'll start here.
Pretty excited to get donked into on this board with this particular hand. Usually it's not this exciting as I'm sure you'll see in the hands that are coming up. I guess there is an option to raise or to call. Definitely not folding an overpair, even though he donked pot.
Yeah, so
calling feels good. One of the nice things that happens when I call is we get to keep just hands that are completely drawing dead, like the bluffing portion of his donking range in there. Maybe just like a random jack 10 or 5-6, or literally hands that have almost no hope versus my hand. If we were up against like a 4, we're kind of toast anyways. I think maybe one of the reasons to raise here is that someone who donks pot might just also be the type of person to get it in with any kind of 9 on the flop, and it'd be really nice to just stack a 9 here instead of worrying about runouts, or maybe a 9 doesn't get stacked, or maybe they have flush draws that put all the money in here but slow down if they don't make a flush or improve somehow on future streets.
Yeah, it's also multi-way too, right? So
yeah,
villain's donking pot, I think much less likely to raise multi-way. The big blind's still live. Not that we're, again, if they have a 4, you're almost certainly just going broke in this scenario. But, maybe they have a 9, right? Like maybe the donker has nothing and the big blind has a 9, and if you raise, you let the big blind off the hook when you'd really like to capture a bet. So, yeah, I'm on board with, just calling the flop. And, oh, see, look, the big blind did come along and call. So taking a turn 3 ways. 449 2 spades turns into 449 7 3 spades, and now things got a little bit more concerning for you.
We faced another donk. But from the other guy.
So what a weird hand you got.
I'm just in here. I'm just in position trying to play normal poker, and these two guys
they're just taking turns. It's like they're trying to gang up on you here.
Yeah.
So now the big blind donks the turn, but they donk half pot, so they chose a different size. You have the queen of spades, so just really nothing to do here other than call. And river's a 4 flush, so 10 of spades. You have the queen of spades, and the villain jams. So kind of an interesting situation. Like, I don't know what you can call and expect to beat, but I also don't really know how they have the ace of spades unless they turn the nut flush.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. On the turn, I'm calling. I'm like, well, I'm pretty sure, like, I'm hoping at least for a spade on the river. Like, that'd be nice. And then I get the spade, and then he jams anyways. I'm like, okay, was that what I was hoping for? Now I'm starting to get worried that, like, I mean, does anyone just jam like a jack high flush here? Like, do they ever make a jack high flush on the turn, and then you're like, oh well, 4 flush, but what can I do? Just put it in.
I have no idea. I can't really give like proper logical rational analysis in this situation. It's so funky. You face a donk on the flop and a donk on the turn by 2 different opponents who use 2 different sizes, and then you got the 4 flush run out, which is relatively rare run out.
This is Zoom, so I don't even know if the big blind is a reg or a fish or what. Like,
they started short stack, so you at least have that data point, but they could have just not reloaded. I mean, there's a lot of unknowns here. So in the known column, it's honestly I guess you have aces and kings with a spade. Those are your, but I don't see how like the king of spades is significantly different than the queen of spades here. You have aces with the ace of spades, ace king of spades, ace queen of spades maybe as your flushes if you don't raise the flop with the nut flush draw, but probably going to raise the flop with the nut flush draw facing pot size donk. So yeah, I mean, fairly high up in your range. You need to win 29% of the time. Who knows? Just chunk the money in and hope for the best, I think.
That's what I did. I was like, I don't know what I expect to see here when I call, but I got a flush, a pretty good flush.
high level
Yeah.
analysis here.
Rug call.
And they turned a flush. So they had the 8-5 of spades and just decided to YOLO it on the 4 flush. Couldn't. It's one of those situations where they just couldn't come to terms with their new reality and decided to jump off a bridge. Well, nice hand.
People do just jam the jack high flush on the river.
I guess they would. I mean, they jammed the 8 high flush. Who knows? Hand number 2. Oh, thank God. It's only heads up. You open the cutoff with 8-6 of spades. Big blind calls. You face what is like a 75% pot on 10-5-8.
At least it's not pot. Usually, this is what donks are mostly like for me, where it's not overpair with a spade. It's like some uncomfortable bluff catcher that you're looking down the line and you're like, do I just start holding on with an 8 here, regardless of what happens? Is that what I'm saying?
I don't know. I guess it
can't fold here though, so we got to start holding on. I mean,
yeah.
This is much of a hold on. Thank God he bet 3/4 pot and not pot. That was nice of him.
You have second pair. You must call. There's really just no way around it. Turns a 4 of clubs, so now you have a pair plus draw. You've got a gut shot. There's double flush draw on the board. Villain goes ahead and bets 75% again. Yeah, from my perspective, you double flush draw, a bunch of straight draws available. You have a pair and a draw, so can't really do anything other than call.
Yep. Still holding on.
Still holding on. The ace of clubs. So the ace of clubs completes a backdoor flush, but it does demote their like jack 10, queen 10, and king 10s, which is quite nice because they're going to, those hands are going to tend to check instead of bet. So, they're value betting, the bottom end of their value betting range now is probably like 2 pair plus, which is good when they bet the river because they're polarizing, repping 2 pair plus. They're also going to have like 7-9, queen jack, heart type hands that they can bluff with. So I actually think that like this card is relatively good for your bluff catching region if you do face a bet.
Yeah, it's really weird, right? Like when they bet this river, I'm a little bit happier than when they check it, I think, because of how much it narrows down their value range. And then when they check, it's like, well, now you just have all the better 10x that all the 1 pair 10x that you would have bet flop and then turn and then kind of gotten a little cautious with on this river. But when they bet, yeah, I agree with you. I think there's just now their value region is just so narrow. Now they're basically saying they have 2 pair plus, some sort of like flopped 2 pair plus or river 2 pair plus.
Yeah. Ace 10,
really nice that he uses this size for us so that we can hopefully just beat all the 9-7s, jack 9s, queen jacks, heart type hands that we don't block. Having a 6 here is now it's sort of nice because it's less likely they have 6-7.
Yep.
Value bet 6-7, maybe larger than this. So who knows? But yeah, like you said, a lot of stuff that bricked. Really nice that like the 10 is the club on this flop texture, I think, because I think it's much less likely that they donk like 8x or 5x of clubs. But if the 10 was a heart and the 8 was a club, I could totally see them donking like jack 10 of clubs or queen 10 of clubs and then rivering a flush and having lots of value bets. So yeah, I think the suits matter a little bit here too.
Yeah, so 75, 75, 75. This is an opponent that really loves the 75% pot button. And let's see how much you love it here on the river. So you call 244 into 328, and they have the jack 9. The day is won. They have a busted open ender. Congratulations. 2 for 2 on bluff catching, facing donks. Hand number 3, you've got 2 4s. The small blind flats, you open cutoff. You flop another pair plus draw. Congratulations. This is a pair plus draw themed episode, incognito. Villain enjoys the 75% pot button once again. They're attracted to it like moths to a flame, apparently. They bet 42 into 60. Pocket fours on tray 6-7. Again, pair plus draw. There's nothing you can do, but
I do.
hold on. Turns a deuce, so it doesn't change anything. Oh, they found a different size half pot on the turn. Good for them. Good for them. They're mixing it up. Facing half pot, 71 into 145. Again, with a pair plus draw. Not much to talk about, I don't think. You just pretty much have to call. River pairs the 7, so doesn't complete 8-9, doesn't complete 9-10, doesn't complete backdoor diamonds. It does complete front door spades. So now, like, the hands that they're going to value bet are going to be like 7x as well as spades. I think this one, unlike the last one, does improve. It gives them more hands to value bet on the river, a lot of trips and lots of flushes. So a little bit different than the last hand, but they still do have overcards, straight draws, backdoor diamonds to bluff with. Once again, they look down and find the 75% pot button. So 75, 50, 75 is their sizing scheme. They bet 199 into 288. Did I miss anything?
Oh, I just pray that they hope they go bigger with trips and flushes. Maybe they use the size with trips because they're a little worried about the flush getting there. But yeah, like you said, I would be less surprised to lose here to a value hand than I was in the previous one. But I block straights. I got a spade, which means you can't have a flush. That's how blockers work.
Yeah, you have one spade, so they can't have two. It wouldn't even be fair if they had two. That's all right. And they had the 8-9, so another busted straight draw. And they're trying to rep a flush.
Yeah, I guess.
They're trying. They're not doing it successfully, but they're trying. Give them an A for effort.
It was unlucky that I had a spade in my hand.
On the button, you open to 3x, playing 5-10. The small blind calls. Looks to be short stacked, almost certainly a white belt. Once again, they donk 75% pot on 10-8-4. So you have second pair with the backdoor flush draw and a backdoor straight draw. So nothing much to do but hang on for dear life. Turns the deuce of hearts, doesn't complete any of their straights. And if I've learned anything from this episode, it's that they always have a straight draw. Wow, they choose a weird size on the turn. They bet like a third. They go 70.
Setting up for a big river jam.
Oh, they do have 269 left. River's a jack. So much for their straight draws. Jack 9 gets there. 7-9 gets there. Queen Jack now makes top pair. There's 300 in the pot. They've got 269 behind.
Jack 7 gets there.
Oh, they bet 140. How could they do it? How do they find half pot on the river?
This size makes me really scared that he found a jack on the river, right? It's like, wouldn't you? So yeah, now I'm hoping for like 5-6, 6-7 turn hearts.
Yeah, they just gave you like a fantastic price with this wonky sizing scheme that they put together here. Probably don't have Queen 9, probably don't have 7-9, probably don't have Jack 10, probably don't have sets, right? Like when they split here and bet half their stack instead of all their money, my intuition is always to start imagining they're splitting their sizings and to start chopping off like the top end. So yeah, if they're saying that they have, Queen Jack, Jack 9, Jack 7, like I just have to imagine they're gonna have like some other hands we can't see right now. 5-6, 6-7, 7-5.
Yeah, maybe ace-3, ace-5.
Nice
thing about this river though is it's similar to the earlier hand. This demotes some of their 10x, right?
It
makes it much less likely that they would have, Queen 10, King 10, Ace 10, 10-9, those types of hands.
Yeah.
Probably not betting the river pure. anymore. So we run into some more Jack X, but we definitely run into less 10x, hopefully.
All right, so hold on to your butts. You call. Oh, the king queen.
Oh,
They
yeah.
rivered a
Why-
4
how,
straight.
how do we miss that one?
Well, unlike the other 3, this one had no connection to the board whatsoever. Apparently, the 50, 25, 50 sizing scheme is not their value sizing scheme for this opponent.
But if you want to learn about which sizes they use in their value sizing scheme, sign up for Nuffle.
Yeah, I think Nuffle is pretty sure Nuffle just paid for itself in these few hands on Tactical Tuesday.
Easily. I mean, I know you know the story, but Nuffle, well, within like a month of buying Nuffle, it led to me winning like a 8K pot or something like that playing live. So that was it was paid for very, very early on.
Yeah, and that was when it was like $99 too. You paid $99 and like within a few weeks you won an 8K pot playing live poker. So yeah, I is there anybody listening that doesn't have Nuffle yet? Honestly, like I can't even imagine somebody not having Nuffle who plays poker of any kind. It just is so. It is almost absurd to me that
You got to get it so that you know when to hold on, when to fold, and when to raise, when to bluff raise, because that's a big part of Nuffle too, and we didn't even get to showcase any of that in today's episode.
Yeah. So check out Nuffle. Don't forget to like and subscribe. This has been John hanging on for dear life. 0 incidences today, facing a bunch of white belt donk bets, including a double donk from 2 different opponents in the same hand, which it's just dodging bullets all around. Yeah, and I think that's all we have for this week's episode of Tactical Tuesday.
See you next week.
See you next week. Don't miss out on our next great poker adventure. Hit that subscribe button and join the CPG family.
This is Tactical Tuesday on Chasing Poker Greatness with your hosts, Brad Wilson and John Chai. Coach Brad approved. Are you a lone wolf searching for the ultimate pack? The CPG Wolf program is a close-knit brotherhood hell-bent on one thing only: chasing poker greatness. Powered by bleeding-edge wolf strats and led by Coach Brad and his lieutenants, CPG Wolves are systematically prepared for almost any spot they'll encounter on the green felt. If you want to plug into an elite team and have a step-by-step game plan to realize your full poker potential, you can apply at cpgwolves.com. Space is limited, and the pack is only as strong as its weakest member. So only the hungriest, grittiest, and most driven will be accepted into the program. Applications are open at cpgwolves.com.